We're going to be making our argument, which can be simplified into two parts. So I'll discuss the first argument, and we'll discuss the second. But the first one is that our law, or the ballot initiative that was supposed to become a law, contrary to public belief, actually leverages the logic of Citizens United to prove that we can limit contributions to super PACs because we are addressing a governmental interest in preventing quid pro quo corruption. The second argument, which Anne is going to address, is that the original meaning of the First Amendment does not bar the regulation of corruption.
Okay, so you have the quid pro quo side, and then you have the second side, which is, can you repeat that again for me?
The originalism
The
argument.
originalism.
Yes.
Okay.
Originalism.
Okay.
Say that 10 times fast.
Originalism. I will not do that, actually. So yeah, can you explain what so you're, one side of it you're saying is you're taking the logic from Citizens United and you're using that to prove why super PACs are actually corruption or bribery? Is that
Yeah, because Citizens United actually says that contributions and expenditures are very different and should be treated differently. It says it explicitly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're focusing on the contributions.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're saying we want to take you at your own word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's treat it differently.
Okay. And what is the originalism side?
Originalism is the idea that the Constitution should be interpreted in the way that the people who wrote it intended it.
How? Okay, cool. I like that. How is that playing into into the Maine?
In terms of strategy?
Super PACs, yeah.
So we'll talk about quid pro quo in just a second, but originalism is kind of fun because it makes no sense. It really, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. So the idea is that it's only about the Constitution. So there's a different thing called textualism, which is like, goes to every single statute. But really, originalism is this idea that the only way to really know how to interpret something that's as vague as, say, like speech and rights is what the people who wrote it, and at that time, would have thought that those things meant. So for example, what does cruel and unusual punishment mean? Well, it's what it meant at the time of the founding, which means tarring and feathering is perfectly fine, right? That's what it means. But it's become very popular, especially in the time since the late 80s, and Scalia and Justice Thomas were the ones to make it, very, very much a part of what we live with now, and it's sort of taken over the Supreme Court ever since. And what I mean by that is most of the justices in the court today, which is not true when I was in law school, are originalists. They really believe that the Constitution should be interpreted in the way that somebody would have interpreted it at the time that it was written. And regardless of whether you're a Republican or Democrat, that's a very interesting way to think about how to interpret something, but it is also the way a lot of the court justices say things should be interpreted. So what's kind of wonderful about this is we actually win on this argument as well. Because at the time of the founding, when people campaigned for office, they didn't actually campaign at all. There's no such thing as campaigns. Campaigning started with Andrew Jackson. So not only was this never considered when the First Circuit the First Amendment was written, but the way people thought about the First Amendment and rights and speech was also very different at the time. So we think of speech right now as being something that is protected against the government, right? If I want to say something, the government can't stop me from speaking. I have that right. But when it was originally written, people thought that the natural rights, like freedom of speech, would go hand in hand with republicanism. So the only reason at the time, you may not agree with it now, but the only reason at the time that when the First Amendment was written, that somebody could say, like, curb a natural right like freedom of speech would be because it was in the public interest and the majority wanted it. Because it was in the public interest and the majority wanted it. And guess what? It is in the public interest and the majority wants it in Maine.
75%.
Yeah.
Yeah.